How can cash flow problems lead to business failure? We're going to answer that question in this video. Okay, let's rock. Let's talk about cash flow and how that can lead to business failure. Right now, if you're watching this video and we're still in the COVID-19 pandemic, you know that if you own a business, that cash is king right now. That's exactly why our government approved all the stimulus money, all the bailout, the PPP program, the EIDL loans, and all that crazy jazz that all the businesses needed. It's because the businesses were running out of cash flow. So cash for a business is like blood in your body. Without it, you can't operate, you can't live, you can't survive. And so cash flow problems means that you're spending more, whether it's through payroll, rent, utilities, whatever it is, advertising, you're spending more that's coming in. So as the time goes, every week, every month, every quarter, your cash in your company operating account is going down. And that can be catastrophic and put you out of business, into business failure if you can't figure it out. So you might say, well, what can I do? I mean, I don't know what to do at this point. I've got rent to pay. My landlords might sue me. I still got to have some employees, so I'm paying them. You know, my utilities, those keep coming in. I signed some advertising contracts and I still have to honor those. What do I do? Okay, so step one is write down on a piece of paper every single expense that your business is having, all of them. Every single one, down to the stuff that's $5 or $10. I don't care what it is, write it down. Then if you don't write it down, put it on an Excel spreadsheet. Either one's fine. I like Excel because I can sum, columns a lot faster than if I handwrite everything down. But if you're one of the kind of people that likes to write stuff down, jot it down on a piece of paper and you can transfer it because you're gonna have to add it up in a bit. And then start starring things that are absolute necessary items. Rent would be one, right? Your utilities would be one. However, even with utilities, you can actually save money. And you're like, well, how? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. In my trading card business, we have a huge retail store, 9,000 square feet, and then we've got warehouse space. We're like 12,000 square feet. And when normal operations were going pre-COVID, we literally would have all the lights on. If the lights would go out, we'd replace the bulbs, get new LEDs, whatever. But we had a huge power and light bill, depending on the month and the time of the year. If it was summer or whatever, it might be between $1,000 and $2,000 a month. We had some months last year that were over $2,000 just in utilities. So when we switched over and we all went on lockdown, we looked and we said, well, what can we do to cut costs? I did exactly what I was telling you all. We jotted everything down. What are the absolute musts? What are the things we don't need? Some of the stuff we canceled, some of the stuff we put on hold, stuff that we absolutely didn't need. We called up and said, hey, we need to put this on hold for 3 months or 6 months, or if not, we need to cancel it, things like that. And those companies understood it. But our power and light bill, we said, now wait a second. We closed our retail store. The only thing that's going on is we're shipping, right? We're shipping in the back. And so how much electricity do we need now compared to what we did prior? Now, we're not messing with the thermostats. We're keeping it comfortable still, but the lights are expensive. And so we said, you know what? Let's shut all the lights off in retail except for like one strip of lights, just so we have enough light, right? It's not like it's going to be pitch black anyway because we have a lot of windows on the front glass, and so the sunlight comes in anyway. But let's put a strip of lights on in the front, maybe two. We have a lot of lights. And then we left the ones on in the back. And lo and behold, at the end of the month, when we got the bill, our bill was down like 40%, almost half. It was down significantly. We literally put that money into our pocket. That would have been money that we would have just paid the power company that was not absolutely necessary to run our business, and we would have thrown it away. And I have this thing called the times 1,000 rule, and we'll be discussing this in greater detail in other videos. But the basic concept is that if you can save a little bit of money here and you can do it over 1,000 times, you're gonna save 1,000 times that number. So if you can save $5 on something, if you do it 1,000 times, you're going to save $5,000 over the length of that time. And so it's important to understand that if you can save, like we did, probably $500, $600, $700 in a month just on utilities. Imagine in 12 months, right? Could be $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 that we put back, and that could keep our company going if we're say super struggling or something like that. So I wanted to use that as an example because a lot of times the reason people run into cash flow problems isn't always just because of the things that are outside our control, like COVID. Like we can't do anything because everybody shut down and we can't operate. Well, a lot of restaurants started doing takeout, or, places did curbside pickup. You got to be innovative. But again, going back to what causes cash flow problems and what puts businesses into business failure is their inability to adapt and cut costs. That's what you got to take. That's the biggest takeaway from this video, is to make sure you understand how to cut costs. It's okay when you're killing it, doing really well, right? Your business is just, rocking and rolling, you're going well. It's okay to take shots when that's going on and try maybe a little bit of different advertising, maybe hire an extra person or two to lighten the load up. When the business is rocking, you can do those things. When the business isn't, you do the opposite. You cut down, you trim, you get slim, you do whatever you got to do so the business survives. The key to going through tough times, to avoid that business failure, the business collapse, the key is to just be able to weather the storm and save the ship. Your business is the ship. And I'm telling you, when you start having cash flow problems, that means you got a lot of leaks in your ship. And sometimes you have to make like the ultimate worst decisions to lay people off. I know I've had to do it before many times. It's not enjoyable. It's actually, it hurts. If you're a business owner like me where you care about your people, it actually hurts. But sometimes you have to do that in order to save your ship. Because heck, what are you going to do? Keep them another 3 months, 6 months, something like that, and then you go out of business as a result of doing that? Does that make more sense? Or understand that there's a system. They created unemployment for a reason. And that allows those people to not starve. They at least get something, and then they can look for other work, but at least your business isn't going to go down the tubes. So being able to figure out and dissect every one of your expenses can potentially save your business from going into failure. And cash flow. Cash flow is everything. Make sure, remember this from me, make sure that your income always exceeds your expenses. And that way you won't run into that problem. Okay, everybody, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like it. Feel free to subscribe. I would love to hear from you if you've got comments. And remember, in life, in business, it's never easy for anybody. And no matter how hard it gets, never quit, push hard, keep pushing, and be the hustler.